I love doing the magic wand exercise and imagining how it could be and really having a vision of like, gosh, I really wish this is how it could be in a peaceful way. But just doing that doesn't actually change the behavior of somebody else. All that you can control is you. But by the way, if you do know how to wave that magic wand and like change the way somebody else behaves, please write to us and let us know right away. And we're going to get you on the podcast and we're going to talk about your magical powers and how we can do it too. So if that's a real thing, let us know. I'm all about it.
I'm Summer.
And I'm Mike.
And we got married with children.
It's been 12 years since we got this gang together.
And we're still running the rapids of living with a blended family.
And sometimes that is just not easy.
If you're looking for support and tools when it comes to divorce, step-parenting, co-parenting, and giving it your best,
you're in the right place.
We're talking about everything.
You ready to get this party started?
Always.
Hello. I am coming to you from Salt Lake City, Utah. That's where I have my team at the Draw Shop. It's where most of our team is based. For those of you that don't know, the Draw Shop is my main business that I've had for over 10 years. It's awesome. I get to come out here and hang out with my team, do some strategy work, and just get some work done. So I'm here by myself. Sometimes I like to bring Mike along with me, but he's been super busy working on our house at home and also on his businesses. So it is just me. And I have to say, any of you moms, or those of you who have a lot of kids, no matter what age they're at, it's nice to get away and just have that alone time in a hotel room where you can just order in food and watch movies. I've been super enjoying it, I have to say. But I head back today and I wanted to do an episode where it's just one-on-one, me with you, because of the things that people are writing in. And first I have to say thank you. Because we've been slowly but consistently building this community. And I really have such gratitude to all of you who listen and who send us messages. So when I get the little pop-ups of a message sent on Facebook or on Instagram or even an email, it makes me so happy when I get to read these messages of something that has really helped you, and also that you're just asking us questions for our advice. That means a lot. And when I get these messages, one of my favorite things to do is to just take a screenshot of it, and then I'll send it to Mike, and then he'll get excited and he'll be like, that's so awesome. And it's just exciting to know that even if it's just one person that we've helped you, and that you feel like somebody understands where you've been or where you're at and the hope of where you can go. So if we can be any part of that journey, we are so grateful. So thank you so much. I'm hoping that there's not going to be too much noise. There's like cars driving by on a main highway right outside the hotel room. I've got my hotel grade coffee next to me. But anyways, hopefully it's not too noisy. Hopefully sound quality is okay. By the way, I feel like the sound quality has just been like not so good. Really like horrible on our latest podcast episode. So I apologize for that, because we're trying to get the situation like all set up at our house where the sound quality is good. And mostly I've just been recording on AirPods, because then our microphone is picking up all these other sounds and things going on at our house, because we still have construction outside. So I apologize for that. And hopefully we're going to fix that really soon. But I think the content is really great, because we've had so many great, fabulous guests on the show. So today I am bringing back a step parent to step parent episode. And it's because I'm listening to you and those of you that are writing in, and I just completely get what you're frustrated about. And so as much as I can talk about this and answer it, I am going to talk about it. And I hope that it helps you, because there's a lot of things, right, that you're dealing with as a step parent. But today I really want to talk about one specific part because it's one that really gets us fired up. And what I want for you today is A, know you are not alone. B, know that you're not crazy for feeling the way that you do. And C, really get back to feeling like the amazing human that you are, because you're way too good to feel so much anxiety and frustration or guilt. And we all need you. Your family needs you at your best. So I want to talk about what you can do, what we have done, and what us as we as step parents are not responsible for doing. And I take a long time, don't I? I take a long time to say what I'm going to talk about. I do that on all my intros. But you probably already saw it in the title. So you kind of know what we're talking about. But here it goes. Here's what we're talking about. When your partner is fighting with the ex over the kids, and you just feel like you're about to lose your mind over it, it's really disrupting so much of that good peace that you have inside. So what does that look like? It's like this. You feel like you're in the middle of their fights. Even if you aren't really, it's affecting you. You feel kind of trapped in it, and it's affecting you both in your relationship. You love your partner with everything you have, but every day you're waking up and you're wondering, what is the ex going to do today to burst this sweet love bubble that we have? Because that's what it feels like, right? You have this great day with your stepkids and your partner. You're all happy. You're watching him or her play with the kids, and they're all smiling and laughing. You're making dinner. You're telling funny stories. All feels really great in your blended family world. But as time has proven, something's going to drop. And it isn't because you two are fighting. It isn't because a kid spilled milk or forgot to let the dog out and the dog had an accident in the house. It's not because of those things. It's because you've gotten used to the call or the text message that came through complaining about your partner being 4 days late with child support, or that he or she did a really crappy job with homework and now Alex is going to fail math. Or it might be about you as a step parent and who the heck you think you are, trying to play such a big role in planning birthday parties for kids that are not biologically yours. Those type of things really disrupt the good feelings that you have. It might even be that it seemed it was the perfect time to bring up the fact that the kids really should be spending less time with you guys, right? Those type things. Oh my gosh, you're just having this great old time, and then those messages start coming in. So it can be way worse than this too. I know people have gotten like really horrible messages. You're on vacation with your family, and that's when they decide to text you something really awful. It can also be that you're going through a court battle over the kids, or your partner is going through a court battle over the kids. So any kind of dig that person, the ex, can do, they are doing it. And maybe they're sending a recap of what happened during a deposition that week. And let's throw in some name calling. And I can't believe you said this, and you're a liar, and that kind of drama. That's what I'm talking about today. If you are the step parent and your partner is going through this icky, horrible mess, as much as it's not about you, you feel like it is, because it's disrupting your family that you're creating and trying to bond with. So whatever it is, if it's any of those things, something worse, something like that, you've gotten used to this roller coaster. And sometimes, probably more than not, you feel like you got to speak your mind. And then when you do, what does it do? It causes more stress. And in the end, you're feeling like the consistent complaints and the fighting between your partner and the ex are really bringing you down, even if, again, it has nothing to do with you. Someone is attacking your bubble and it's unnecessary for everyone. And what does that do but bring out frustration, bring out anger and irritability and all of the bad, icky feelings. So today I want to talk about how you can turn this feeling around. And also, I hope you're listening to this and saying, okay, it's not just me, because it's not just you. This is a common thing. But even though it's common doesn't mean that it's like, okay, well, this is common, so I should just accept it. No, you don't have to accept these bad feelings. You can do something about it. It still feels unique to you because it's your family. It's your peace that's being disrupted. And I get it 1,000%. So first thing, realize that you cannot control what the ex says. You can't control any outbursts. You can't control the name calling. You can't control the text messages that come at midnight. You can't control what's being said about you. You also can't control, this is super important, you also can't control what your partner does and how he or she responds to it. They might respond in a way that you're like, oh, I wouldn't have done that, or oh, I wish you'd say this instead. You can't do that unless you are physically, and I've done a whole episode on this, taking that person's phone and responding for them, which I really don't. I've talked about this actually with some other step parents on the podcast who used to do that. I got to tell you, it's not a good idea. And all that does is causes you stress, and you're taking on a responsibility that just isn't yours. So accept that you can't control what your partner does and how he or she responds. Like, so much of the upset that we feel in these moments is that we want to be able to change things. We want to do it our way. We want to wave our magic wand. And while that sounds awesome, you just can't make someone behave differently, no matter what you're waving in the air. I love doing the magic wand exercise and imagining how it could be and really having a vision of like, gosh, I really wish this is how it could be in a peaceful way. But just doing that doesn't actually change the behavior of somebody else. All that you can control is you. But by the way, if you do know how to wave that magic wand and like change the way somebody else behaves, please write to us and let us know right away. And we're going to get you on the podcast, and we're going to talk about your magical powers and how we can do it too. So if that's a real thing, let us know. I'm all about it. Okay, but let's get back to like what I feel is most likely accurate. And that means that you cannot control the situation. You can't control the judge in a court battle. You can't control the outcome. But you can, however, control yourself. And once you realize just that part, it's super liberating. It's like this huge weight lifted, because you're probably putting an overwhelming amount of pressure on yourself, thinking that somehow you can control all of these outcomes. And all of these outcomes really have little to do with you. But you're like, oh, this is my family though. This is my spouse. Of course it has to do with me. It has a direct effect on you. But there's very little that you can control when it comes to the court stuff, when it comes to the fighting between your partner and the ex. You can have your input, you can say things, but you cannot control it. You can't get inside somebody's brain and control how they're going to react to something. So let's just talk about the things that you can do. One of the most important things is clearing your head and just taking care of you. And that might sound selfish, but the ripple effect of that is going to be amazing. The moment that you turn to focus on you and how you can be at your best and have that clear head, the better that you are going to perform as a partner, as a wife, husband, whatever your role is, as a step parent, as a bio parent, in your regular work life, as a friend. The more that you have a clear head and don't have it filled with all these things that you can't control, the better you're going to be. So finding the things that you can do to take care of you and get to that space. And back to what I just said a few moments ago is taking that pressure off of yourself and just saying, I can't control that. I can't control that. It's out of my hands. It is a liberating feeling once you're like in touch with that. It's like, okay, that's not on my to-do list. Here's what is on my to-do list. And it has to do with me being good and in a healthy mental state. Here are some other things that you can do. And these are things that I chose to do because these are things that did help me and made me feel like here's what I can contribute to the situation without trying to contribute to a situation. Had to take a sip of my crappy coffee. Have you ever had a hotel room coffee? Even if it is like a Starbucks or a brand that you know, and you put it in the Keurig or whatever it is, it just doesn't taste good. But it's coffee, so I'm having it. All right, back to it. So here are some things. For me, it was like when there were like stressful times and things that I couldn't control, it was like, how can I create a space in my home that feels welcoming, loving, and warm? What can I do to be there for my kids, for my stepkids, when there's a lot going on in their world? What can I do to make sure that I'm present? What can I do to make sure that I'm there for my partner? And by that, I don't mean I'm going to be there for you. That means I'm going to tell you what to do, how you should handle the situation. I mean, be there to listen. Be there to hear what they're frustrated about, what they're angry about, what they need to vent about. And then if asked my opinion or my advice, then I would share. So the same for you. It's like being that sounding board for the anger or the venting without inserting your judgment unless asked. And if you are asked, that doesn't mean, again, to just insert the opinion, because what that does, even if your partner is angry about their ex, if you are like, yes, now we get to have this like party, and talk poorly about this ex and just like, oh my gosh, and when he does this or when she does that, it's so upsetting. Da, 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 da. Even though you're like, oh, this is going to help my partner because they're going to feel understood, it makes it worse, because on some level, your partner is feeling guilty that they've brought whatever this fighting and drama and baggage that they had. They feel guilty about bringing that on. So when they see that it's upsetting you, it makes the situation worse. But if you can be more understanding, and if you're asked for your opinion, you can calmly and maturely say what you might do in that situation. Well, I guess if it were me, this is what I would try. But most of all, it's about acknowledging how much it sucks, and yes, how hard this must be. And what if, maybe some what ifs. What if we try this? Or what if you responded this way? How do you think he or she would respond? And really just making some suggestions that aren't judgmental, that aren't telling them what to do, but more just being like, what if we try this? Because then they're going to be more open to hearing that, rather than, well, you need to do this and you need to say that. And she needs to know that she can't. No. Like all of that makes things go downhill, and you're just adding fuel to the fire instead of saying, okay, how can we actually solve this problem? How can I work together with you, knowing that it isn't your responsibility? Your responsibility is to be supportive. So really I know they say this a lot for women. Women just want to feel understood. They want to feel validated. But I think that goes for all of us. I really think that goes for all of us, wanting to feel understood. So however your partner is dealing with something, my experience, and from what I have seen with other people, the moment that you take on that understanding, supportive role rather than the I'm going to tell you what you need to do role, it helps a ton. It just lowers like the whole excitement to a level that's like, okay, now I can be open. It's clear. It starts to clear the head instead of acting from a place of defensiveness. Now you're going, okay, what can we actually, let's be in a place where we can actually do something that's going to help the situation.
Hey guys, did you know that you can text us now? Like if you want to be the first to know if we're going live or just launched a new episode, or maybe that we just went out on a date or had a fight, who's right, who's wrong, maybe we ate too much for dinner or missed a workout. No, seriously, we want to share more of what's going on in our lives, and we want to make sure that you don't miss out on anything new. So send a quick hello to 760-389-3722, and let's stay connected. All right, back to the show.
It's really about being an adult. Like, here's the thing. Going through a divorce breeds immaturity in all of us. Like the ridiculous grammar school kind, the kind that gets a call from the principal because you're doing things that are just so immature. It happens. Like you have all of these emotions and then you're doing things that are like, oh my gosh, I'd be so angry at my kid if they did that. So you as the step parent, you don't have to be that as well. So if you see that happening with your partner and the ex, you don't have to go to that level. Be the one. Take this as an opportunity to be an adult, because the more that you are and the more that you demonstrate emotional maturity, the more that you influence your partner and others. So when you say you want to control and have others behave differently, a lot of times the byproduct of you demonstrating the behavior that you want to see and the emotional maturity that you want to see, the more that you have the power to influence others. I'm not saying you will, but you have a much better chance of doing that and actually inspiring others to do the same. So while it super, super sucks watching the person that you love get attacked or go through this kind of stress, remember this: the kids are really suffering. They're really suffering too when their parents don't get along. It really, really affects their ability to trust others, to bond with others, and to just love others. So you have an opportunity to be that adult for your partner and with your partner, hopefully together, they're doing it with you, but just to really be strong and demonstrate that emotional maturity so that the kids can see that as well, because they're feeling insecure in these moments, whether they are showing it or not. And then it takes effect and you see it. You see it later on. So be strong, be silent unless asked. And by silent, I don't mean you don't get to speak or have an opinion, but I mean just listen. And then when you're asked, offer up your suggestions. Take deep breaths. Take care of yourself, meditate, do the things that you need to do to stay calm. I can tell you one of my favorite apps is the Breathe app, BREETHE. It's amazing. I've been using it for years. It literally has a meditation for all circumstances. It has all kinds of guides and teachers on there. I mean, there's things like if you are going through divorce, if you have anger issues, if you're feeling insecure, if you're frustrated, if you're having confidence issues, I mean, anything you can think of. There is so much on that app that you can access, and it's so helpful. And there's 8-minute long meditations. There's guided meditations, there's music, there's sounds, there's all kinds of stuff. So if you're into that, which I super am, it's so helpful. There's sleep ones. It's really, really good. I know there's a ton. There's like the Calm app, which is good as well, but the Breathe app has become one of my favorites. I absolutely love it. So I think that this whole experience of having to deal with this, a partner that is fighting with their ex over the kids, you're probably going to find that this experience will be your best practice ever in learning patience and developing a high emotional IQ. Like, for real. That's what Chloe always says. For real though. But for real though, it really is. I have probably learned through blending a family through many different experiences and things that we've gone through. It has definitely been the best practice ever for learning patience and for learning when to hold back and really how to respond to things rather than to react. So being supportive and understanding what supporting means. Yeah, it's really about being there to listen and care for your partner. And here's how I like to think of it too. Think of it as being the sunlight at the end of a hard day. Because what your partner wants most when dealing with all of this stress is to feel loved and to feel good and to feel the opposite of the stress and the chaos, to feel opposite of feeling attacked. So highlighting the good things that you have within your relationship and your family, and remind them, especially during fighting over kids, remind them of the good parent that they are, despite what the ex says. So promote family activities or one-on-one time for your partner and their kids. Because when all of this is going on, with all of that fighting, they're feeling darkness when it comes to the battle and the fighting. So if you can be the light, you allow them that fresh breath. So realizing that no matter what your relationship, no matter what is happening, your relationship isn't at threat. It isn't being threatened. It feels like it is, but you're strong enough for that. You won't allow it to be threatened, and that nothing can penetrate the love that you have. Oftentimes, the most upsetting part of these battles is the fear that it will impact your current relationship. And while you may feel at times that you cannot endure this, realize that there will always be battles in life. They will come and go, and this is just one of them. And it happens to be with the ex, which feels like one of the hardest, but that doesn't mean that you can't get through it. The less you try to control or insert yourself, the more that you can appreciate your time together and the strength that you have. I can tell you this, Mike and I have been through a lot, as you know, and some of the stuff we share, some of the stuff we don't, as to be mindful of the members of our family. But we have been through a lot. That is no secret. Like really, really hard things. Hard to us. What's hard for some others might not, or what I'm trying to say is that it might not seem so hard to others, but it was really hard for us. And what's gotten us through is the foundation of our relationship, and building that and making sure that it is so mighty, mighty strong. And each time you get through something hard, it's astounding how much stronger and intense that foundation and the love and trust grows. So look forward to that. And that sounds weird, like, oh, I'm going to look forward to these hard times. It's more about looking at these hard times as an opportunity to really see how strong you are. Because if you know deep down that you are strong and you have this commitment with each other because of this strength and love that you have, you're going to be good. And you start to say, okay, well, here's a hard moment coming up. Here's a challenge coming up. But you start to equate those challenges with every single time we get through it, we're stronger. We're more in love. We've reached a deeper level of love we didn't even know was possible. And it's like, wow, how does this happen? And it does. So it allows you to feel stronger when going through those challenges because you know what's on the other side. I hope that makes sense. We have experienced, we continue to experience, because the challenges don't cease. They keep coming, especially as kids are growing and going through different stages, especially as other circumstances happen that are beyond your control, and you've got to get through them together. But here's the thing with each of those, and this is one that I really, really, really want you to hear, is that it doesn't last forever. Each of these challenges doesn't last forever. It just feels like it because sometimes it's a really long challenge, years maybe. It doesn't last forever though. And I know that a lot of you in blended family situations, step parenting, fighting over kids, you have been dealing with this for years and years. I get it more than you know. But the truth is that it won't last forever. Court isn't going to last forever. The fighting won't last forever, especially as kids get older and you can start to plan and schedule things with them directly. And there's things that you don't have to be fighting about with the ex. Look at yourself as part of the strong and stable, calm foundation that your family needs, that these kids, your stepkids need, even if it feels like anything but at the time. Even if you're like, this doesn't feel strong, this doesn't feel calm, this doesn't feel anything, keep being that. Keep being that with your partner. Keep nurturing the relationship with your partner, because all of the feelings that you have are legit and real. And it's completely fair for you to feel upset when a battle is going on, especially for a really, really long time. But do what you need to do to talk about those feelings, to acknowledge those feelings, while at the same time being strong and stable for your family. Don't worry so much about the battle that's going on that is out of your control. Worry about your relationship with your stepkids, the relationship with your partner, and remember to be supportive and not to, again, insert that harsh judgment. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't express your feelings. So this is the next thing. And one of the final things I want to close this out with is you want to be there for each other and be mindful of the difference of sharing your feelings and inserting judgment. So when you're expressing your feelings, there is quite a difference between getting angry and telling your partner what they should do, and then being mature and saying, hey, I want to talk to you about this. I recognize this has been really hard on you, and I wanted to let you know that it's actually been really hard on me too. And I have some fears about it, and I feel angry about it too. And I feel frustrated, and I'm worried it will affect our relationship, or I'm worried it will affect my relationship with the kids. Say what you feel in a way that is owning your feelings, taking responsibility for your feelings without putting blame on your partner. And I hope that makes sense, because by no means when I say all of this, like when I say don't insert your judgment and all those things, I don't want you to be silent about your feelings. I don't think that's helpful. What's been really helpful for me is to express the things that I was fearful about, the things that frustrated me, the things that caused me worry or anger or whatever it was, but in a way that would affirm to Mike, hey, I'm not blaming you for this. This isn't on you. I don't want you to feel that you're responsible for the way that I'm feeling now. I just want to share with you what I'm feeling, because there's just this amazing feeling when your partner validates the things that you're feeling and you express it in a way that doesn't make them feel responsible for those feelings. Because at the end of the day, we are responsible for our feelings. Sure, certain behaviors from other people will trigger those feelings, but at the end of the day, we are responsible for our feelings, and we're also responsible for the boundaries that we set in place so that we can minimize things that trigger those icky feelings. But I said a lot about not inserting your opinion or judgment unless asked. And I said a lot about how you can make suggestions. Again, suggestions, not demands. And I just don't want anyone to think so I'm not supposed to express my feelings. You should express your feelings. I'm just hoping that it's clear that there is a difference. in how you do that. And you can kind of feel it in your gut. You can feel it when you are attacking or wanting someone to feel bad or you're angry. There's a difference between that and just really expressing, I am feeling this and I just want to be acknowledged. I just want it to be validated, because a lot of times with feelings, you just don't want to feel like you're crazy for having these feelings. And you're trying to justify. And sometimes you go at another person and you think that's going to justify it. Just express it. Just express it, and in a way that opens up the other person to hear it. And the way that you do that is by not making it their responsibility. I hope that makes sense. I don't know if I have a really good way of saying that, but I hope it makes sense to you. Okay. One final thing. And I'm going to bring this back because this is like part of our whole, part of everything that we talk about is boundaries, right? So if you've listened to this podcast before, or maybe it's your first time, if you do know this about us, you know that we love boundaries. If you don't know this about us, here's the thing. We love boundaries. We love boundaries because of the tremendous impact it's had on our life and our blended family and us personally as individuals. It has literally transformed our life. It's something that you can control, whether someone else respects them or not. You can have your own boundaries in place. And in this case, remember to have boundaries for yourself. Protect your time, protect your mental state, protect your self-care, and remember that you are not responsible or in control of their battles. What you are is an empowered person who gets to be in control of yourself. I hope this was helpful, and I'm wishing you all the strength, all the emotional maturity, all of the wonderful things that can actually come out of these hard challenges. Know that I understand you, know that I validate your feelings, and I'm wishing you all the love. I'm sending you the support, all that you need to get through these challenging times. And I know that you're going to come out of this stronger than you ever thought you could be. And it's going to be pretty amazing for your family to watch this, for your kids to watch this, your stepkids, your partner. It's actually a really awesome thing. And I hope that you can see that in this moment. So if this was helpful to you, share it with someone that you think it could help as well. And I will see you next time. Thank you so much for listening. And we like to say, if you enjoyed this episode, share it with someone you love, and be bold enough to share it with someone you don't. See you next time.